The person you want to become is hiding behind excuses you keep making. Read that again. Not behind bad luck. Not behind a lack of talent. Not behind the people who doubted you. Behind your excuses. Every excuse you make creates another wall between who you are and who you could become. And the painful part is that most people never realize it. They spend years talking about the life they want, the body they want, the business they want, the confidence they want, the freedom they want. But wanting something and working for it are two completely different things. Every day they wake up with a dream in their head and an excuse in their pocket, and somehow the excuse wins. Again and again and again. Maybe you've told yourself you'll start tomorrow. Maybe you've convinced yourself you're waiting for the perfect moment. Maybe you've said you're too tired, too busy, too stressed, too unlucky. But let's be honest. How many tomorrows have already passed? How many opportunities have slipped through your fingers while you were waiting to feel ready? The truth nobody wants to hear is this. You will never feel ready. You become ready by doing. The strongest people aren't the ones who waited until they felt confident. They're the ones who acted while they were scared. They're the ones who kept moving when they were tired. They're the ones who worked when motivation disappeared. Because motivation is temporary. Discipline is what changes lives. Look at your life right now. Every result you have is connected to the actions you've repeated, not the actions you planned, not the actions you talked about, the actions you actually did. Your future isn't being built by your intentions. It's being built by your habits. And that's why excuses are so dangerous. They feel harmless. They feel reasonable. They feel justified. But every excuse steals something from your future. Every excuse delays the person you're trying to become. Every excuse tells your mind that comfort matters more than growth. And every time you listen, you become weaker. Not physically, mentally. You teach yourself that quitting is acceptable. You teach yourself that avoiding discomfort is normal. You teach yourself that your goals are optional. And eventually that mindset spreads into every area of your life. You stop pushing. You stop growing. You stop believing. And then one day you wake up wondering why nothing has changed. The answer is simple. You change your goals into wishes. You change your dreams into conversations. You change your potential into excuses. And life doesn't reward potential. Life rewards action. There are people less talented than you winning. There are people less intelligent than you succeeding. There are people with fewer advantages building incredible lives. Why? Because they stopped negotiating with themselves. They stopped asking whether they felt like doing the work. They simply did it. Most people think success comes from doing something extraordinary. It doesn't. Success comes from doing ordinary things consistently. Waking up when you said you would. Working when you don't feel like it. Learning when it's easier to scroll. Practicing when nobody is watching. Showing up when excuses are screaming at you to stay comfortable. That's where transformation begins. Not in inspiration, not in motivation, not in dreaming, in action. The version of you that you admire already exists. The confident version, the disciplined version, the successful version, the unstoppable version. But that person is trapped behind the excuses you keep making. And every excuse is another lock on the door. The question is, how much longer are you willing to keep yourself locked away? Think about the person you could be 1 year from now. Not 5 years, not 10 years, just 1 year, 12 months, 365 days. That isn't a long time, but it is more than enough time to completely change your life. You could build strength, learn valuable skills, start a business, read dozens of books, develop confidence, create discipline, transform your mindset. You could become almost unrecognizable compared to who you are today. But there's a condition. You have to stop making excuses, because every excuse costs you time. And time is the one thing you can never earn back. Money can return. Opportunities can return. Even lost relationships can sometimes return. But a wasted year is gone forever. A wasted month is gone forever. A wasted day is gone forever. And that's why excuses are expensive. Far more expensive than most people realize. The scary thing is that excuses don't usually sound like excuses. They sound intelligent. They sound logical. They sound reasonable. I'll start when things calm down. I'll start when I have more money. I'll start when I have more confidence. I'll start when I know more. I'll start when I have better circumstances. But life keeps moving, and while you're waiting for perfect conditions, someone else is moving forward with imperfect conditions. Someone else is building. Someone else is learning. Someone else is improving. Someone else is becoming the person they want to be, not because they're lucky, because they stopped waiting. Most people spend their lives preparing to begin. Think about that. Preparing to begin. Planning, researching, watching videos, making schedules, talking about goals, dreaming about success, but never taking real action. Preparation feels productive, but preparation without execution is just another form of procrastination. At some point, you have to stop thinking and start doing. At some point, you have to stop talking and start working. At some point, you have to stop imagining a better future and start earning it. Nobody is coming to rescue you. Nobody is coming to hand you discipline. Nobody is coming to force you to become great. That responsibility belongs to you, and that can be frightening because it means you can't blame anyone else. But it can also be empowering because if your future depends on you, then your future is still in your hands. The moment you accept responsibility, everything changes. You stop acting like a victim. You stop waiting for permission. You stop looking for shortcuts, and you start building. One decision at a time. One action at a time. One day at a time. The truth is that your life is shaped by what you do repeatedly, not occasionally, repeatedly. Anybody can work hard for one day. Anybody can stay motivated for 1 week. But can you stay committed when nobody is cheering for you? Can you stay focused when progress is slow? Can you keep moving when results aren't visible yet? Because that's where most people quit. They expect immediate rewards. And when success doesn't arrive instantly, they abandon the process. But growth doesn't work that way. The strongest tree doesn't grow overnight. The strongest mind doesn't develop overnight. The strongest character isn't built overnight. Everything valuable takes time. And that's why patience is a weapon. The people who win are usually not the fastest. They're the ones who refuse to stop. They keep showing up. They keep improving. They keep learning. They keep fighting. Long after everyone else has given up. You don't need a perfect plan. You need consistent effort. You don't need perfect timing. You need action. You don't need another excuse. You need another step forward. The person you want to become is not waiting for motivation. That future version of you is waiting for your decision. The decision to stop running. The decision to stop delaying. The decision to stop hiding behind reasons that make you feel comfortable. Because comfort has never created greatness. Comfort has never built champions. Comfort has never changed lives. Growth begins the moment comfort ends. And the life you want is waiting on the other side of that discomfort. Right now, there's a version of you that already knows what needs to be done. Not guesswork, not confusion. You already know. You know the habits you need to build. You know the distractions you need to remove. You know the work you've been avoiding. You know the conversations you keep postponing with yourself. You know the problem is not awareness. The problem is execution. And that gap between knowing and doing is where excuses live. Excuses are not reality. They are comfort stories your mind tells you to avoid pain. But here's the truth most people don't accept. Every time you choose an excuse, you're also choosing the outcome that comes with it. You don't just miss a workout. You choose to stay weaker. You don't just skip studying. You choose to stay behind. You don't just delay your work. You choose a smaller future. Life is not happening to you. It is responding to you. And every action is casting a vote for the person you will become. Most people don't realize they are voting every day. Voting for discipline or distraction. Voting for growth or comfort. Voting for progress or regret. And slowly, those votes build a life. Not in one moment, but in thousands of small decisions. That's why excuses are so dangerous. Because they feel small in the moment, but they compound into a life you never wanted. Now listen carefully. The version of you admire is not waiting for some magical transformation. That version is built through repetition, through boring work, through consistency when nobody is watching. Not hype, not motivation, not inspiration. Repetition. And repetition is where most people collapse. Because repetition is not exciting. It is not glamorous. It is not emotional. It is simple. Wake up, do the work, repeat, and the mind fights that simplicity. It wants variety. It wants comfort. It wants delay. So it creates excuses that feel justified. But excuses are just resistance wearing different clothes. You say you are tired. You say you are busy. You say you will do it later. But what you are really saying is, I am not willing to be uncomfortable right now. And that sentence is a difference between who you are and who you could become. There are people with your exact circumstances doing better than you, not because they feel different, but because they act differently. They feel the same resistance. They hear the same excuses in their mind, but they don't obey them. That is discipline, not the absence of excuses, but the refusal to listen to them. If you keep waiting for motivation, you will stay stuck. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. But your goals don't disappear when motivation disappears. Your responsibilities don't pause when motivation disappears. Your future doesn't wait when motivation disappears. So you cannot depend on it. You have to depend on behavior. And behavior is built through decision. One decision to work instead of scroll. One decision to show up instead of delay. One decision to continue instead of quit. That is how identity changes, not by thinking differently, but by acting differently until thinking has no choice but to follow. You are not stuck because you lack potential. You are stuck because you are negotiating with yourself too often. And every negotiation weakens your discipline. Every compromise trains your mind to choose easier paths. And easy paths rarely lead to strong lives. The harder path is where the transformation is. Not because suffering is the goal, but because growth requires resistance. Without resistance, nothing strengthens. Not muscles, not mind, not character. So the question is no longer what you want. The question is what you are willing to endure. Because the person you want to become is on the other side of discomfort you keep avoiding. You keep telling yourself you'll change when things get easier. But life doesn't get easier first. You get stronger first. That's the part most people refuse to accept. They wait for life to align perfectly, for energy to increase, for motivation to appear, for fear to disappear, for everything to feel right. But that moment never arrives. And while they wait, life keeps moving forward without them. Look at it clearly. Nothing in your environment is stopping you from improving your life in some way today. Not everything, but something. You can read, you can practice, you can train, you can study, you can build, you can think, you can plan with action instead of delay. But the excuse always tries to shrink that truth. It tells you that you need more time, more resources, more confidence, more clarity, more luck. But that is a lie designed to keep you still, because stillness feels safe, even when it slowly destroys your future. Most people are not failing because they are incapable. They are failing because they are inconsistent. And inconsistency is just another form of self-sabotage. One day of effort does not change anything. One day of discipline does not create a new identity, but repeated effort does. Repeated discipline does. Repeated refusal to listen to excuses does. That is how people transform, not through intensity, through consistency. You don't need to destroy yourself in one motivational burst. You need to stop breaking promises to yourself, because every broken promise weakens trust in yourself. And once you stop trusting yourself, discipline becomes harder, not because the work is harder, but because your identity becomes weaker. And when your identity is weak, excuses feel stronger. That's why some people can't even start anymore. Not because they don't know what to do, but because they've trained themselves to ignore their own decisions. They say, I will start tomorrow, so many times that tomorrow loses meaning. And now here you are, at a point where you don't need more information. You need honesty, raw honesty. Are you doing what you already know you should be doing? Or are you just collecting motivation like it's enough? Because motivation without action is just entertainment. It feels good, it sounds powerful, but it builds nothing. The life you want is not built in your imagination. It is built in your schedule, in your habits, in your repeated decisions. And that means your excuses are not small things. They are daily votes against your future. Every time you choose comfort over effort, you are reinforcing the same identity. Someone who delays, someone who avoids, someone who negotiates with growth. And that identity will always stay where it is, unless you break it. Not tomorrow, not later, not when it feels right. Now, because later is where most dreams go to die. And the version of you that you admire is not waiting in later. That version is waiting in action, in discomfort, in repetition, in discipline that doesn't need motivation to survive. If you keep making excuses, you will keep meeting the same version of yourself every year. Same thoughts, same regrets, same potential, never realized. But if you stop today, even slightly, everything begins to shift. Not instantly, but inevitably, because discipline compounds just like excuses do. And one of them builds a life you respect. The other builds a life you escape from. You have to understand something most people never learn in time. Your life is not controlled by your intentions. It is controlled by your standards. What you tolerate becomes your life. If you tolerate excuses, you become someone who excuses everything. If you tolerate inconsistency, you become inconsistent. If you tolerate delay, your entire life becomes delay. And slowly, without noticing, you stop expecting more from yourself. That is how people lose years. Not in one big failure, but in thousands of small acceptances. I'll do it later. It's fine if I skip today. One day won't matter. But one day becomes many days. Many days become months. Months become years. And suddenly you are looking at a life you never planned for. Not because you lacked ability, but because you lacked enforcement. You didn't enforce discipline on yourself. You didn't enforce your own standards. You allowed excuses to become normal. And once something becomes normal, it becomes your identity. That is the part that is hardest to face, because it means no one else is responsible for fixing it. No system, no person, no situation. It is you. And that realization can either destroy you or wake you up. Most people choose destruction. A few choose awakening. The difference is simple. One group keeps explaining their situation. The other group starts changing it. You don't need a new personality. You don't need a new life. You need a new standard for yourself. A standard where excuses are not accepted anymore. A standard where comfort is not the decision maker. A standard where your actions matter more than your feelings. Because feelings are unreliable. They change every hour. They change with mood. They change with stress. But discipline does not change. Discipline is not emotional. It is structural. It is built through repetition. And repetition only happens when you stop negotiating. You cannot build a strong life while constantly debating with yourself. Should I do it? Maybe later. I don't feel like it. That inner conversation is exactly what is holding you back. Every successful person has learned how to end that conversation quickly, not by arguing with it, but by overriding it with action. They don't wait for agreement from their emotions. They act anyway. And over time, their identity shifts from someone who hesitates to someone who executes. That is the real transformation. Not becoming perfect, becoming consistent. You are not behind because you failed once. You are behind because you kept restarting instead of continuing. Every restart resets momentum. And momentum is what makes hard things easier. Without it, everything feels heavy. Everything feels difficult. Everything feels like a struggle. But once you build momentum, even hard work starts feeling natural. That is what discipline gives you. Not ease in life, but strength inside life. And that strength is what separates the person you are now from the person you want to become. So stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for a better mood. Stop waiting for a perfect version of yourself to show up. That version does not arrive first. It is created through action. And if you keep postponing action, you are not delaying success. You are denying it. The truth is simple. You are always one decision away from a different direction. But that decision has to be made today. Not in theory, not in planning, in action. Because excuses don't disappear on their own. You remove them by refusing to listen. Again and again, until they lose power over you. This is the part most people avoid hearing. Nobody is coming to save you from your excuses. Not your future self. Not motivation. Not a perfect moment. It's just you, right now. And the life you will live is being decided in the small moments you keep ignoring. Every time you say, "not today," you are quietly choosing the same life again. Every time you delay what you already know you should do, you are reinforcing the same identity. And that identity is either building you or breaking you. There is no neutral ground. You are either moving forward or staying the same. And staying the same is just slow decline disguised as comfort. The version of you keep thinking about is not far away. It is not hidden in some future achievement. It is hidden in your daily behavior, in what you do when no one is watching, in what you do when you are tired, in what you do when excuses are loud. And the truth is simple. If you keep obeying excuses, you will keep living the same life. But if you stop obeying them, even today, your direction starts to change immediately. Not your entire life in 1 second, but your direction. And direction matters more than speed. Because even slow progress in the right direction beats fast movement in the wrong one. Now be honest with yourself. How many times have you already said you will change? How many times have you already promised yourself a new start? And how many times did nothing actually change after that? That cycle only ends when your actions become louder than your words. When you stop promising and start proving. When you stop planning and start executing. When you stop explaining and start building. Because explanations don't create results. Action does. And action always costs something. Comfort, time, energy, discomfort. But excuses also cost something. Your future, your confidence, your respect for yourself. And the worst part is, excuses cost silently. You don't feel the loss immediately. You feel it later, when time is gone, when opportunities are missed, when regret starts speaking louder than ambition. So choose carefully. Every excuse you accept is a step away from who you want to become. Every disciplined action is a step toward them. And that version of you is not asking for perfection. It is asking for consistency. It is asking for effort. It is asking for honesty in your actions, not your words. Now listen carefully. If you want your life to change, stop waiting for life to change you. Start changing how you respond to resistance. Because resistance will always be there. The difference is whether you obey it or override it. That is the entire battle. Not talent, not luck, not timing. Just obedience to excuses versus discipline over excuses. And today, you decide which side you are on. If you are tired of the same cycle, then break it. Not with emotion, not with motivation, but with action you repeat even when you don't feel like it. That is how a new life is built. Not all at once, but piece by piece, day by day, action by action. And now, if this message hit you even a little, don't just leave it here. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this that pushes you to think differently and act differently. Like this video if you want to support the message and keep it going. And comment what you are struggling with or what excuse you are trying to break right now. Your experience matters, and it helps others realize they are not alone in this fight. Share this with someone who keeps saying, "I'll start tomorrow," because maybe this is the moment that makes them stop delaying, not as pressure, but as a reminder of what they already know deep down, that the person they want to become is waiting on the other side of their excuses.